How are you doing today? We are going to learn an interesting way of writing essays, which is called as the case study method of learning. The advantage of this method is that you can quickly learn about writing skills, learn writing essays with the help of an example. So when you follow an example, you have got a case study or a path to follow. And if you just uh, learn that example, try to see the nuances of how an essay is written, and kind of if you do a little bit of reverse engineering of the essay to get into the mindset of the writer, you get to understand the kind of planning, the kind of um steps the writer followed, and you can use the same steps to write your own essay. So here we have got an interesting topic which says using a computer every day can have more negative than positive effects on children. Do you agree or disagree? So the topic is related to the use of computers, as we can see, and it is from the perspective of children, whether they should be allowed to use computers on a daily basis or not. It says give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. All right, fine. So when we look at this question carefully, it says, do you agree or disagree? So this is like an agree or disagree kind of question, wherein we have to have a very clear-cut answer that we should allow children to use computers every day or not, and understanding the tone of the question and answering accordingly is very important. Since it's a very objective question, it's a very black and white question, you need to give an answer which is matching this tone and which tells in a very clear manner whether the children should be allowed to use computers on a daily basis or not. So let's see how it begins, and we'll study some rules also with the help of this example. It says the first sentence, computer is a great invention. Okay, so computer is a great invention. Now see, the beauty of the sentence is that it is very short and direct, and it is grammatically correct. Although it is not the best way to express or to praise computer, one can always say computer is a very useful tool. Computer is useful for everybody. Computer has found many uses in the modern world. Everybody uses computer in different ways, and children are not an exception. So you have various ways of putting the first sentence across. uh, However, there is one point which I want to make, that your first sentence should be very easy to understand and it should be short. You can follow the structure called as uh, a three-step process to write the introduction. The first step is to state the obvious, the second step is to state your opinion, and the third step is to invite for further discussion. So we will discuss these steps, stating the obvious, stating your opinion, inviting for further discussion a little further in some other examples. But here let us just quickly go through this particular example and see how the person has drafted his essay. Computer is a great invention, he says, which is a very simple sentence, and that gives a platform to the reader to come on a common ground and start reading the essay. Since it is very easy, it acts as a very good icebreaker. Children uh, use it to explore and learn various subjects. Okay, I think it is a good idea to allow children to use computer every day for studies and getting knowledge. Now, if you can look at this, this is a very clear answer to the question. Since it was a very black and white question asked at the beginning, he has given his opinion in a very clear-cut manner. I think it is a good idea to allow children to use computers every day for studies and getting knowledge. For studies and for getting knowledge. This needs to be repeated. However, parents should, this is called as parallel structure, and that's what reading an essay, reading your own essay is very important once you have drafted it. However, parents should make sure that their wards do not misuse this tool. So he has added in a warning also. This serves like a very good introduction, because the view of the writer is very clear. that he's saying that children should be allowed to use computers on a daily basis, but parents should be a little more watchful. Now, let's see how he has written the first, second, and third paragraph. Using computers every day can be very helpful for children. So it's saying that it can be helpful. Now, in which ways can it be helpful? The first benefit is, so now see, he is using different words. Helpful, benefit, is ease of learning. Okay, so this is the benefit, ease of learning. What is that? A computer helps a child to learn in an easy way because a child can see audio and visual explanations. Okay, they can also see different lessons from various websites and learn from various trainers and online experts. Now, various word is repeated here. Instead of saying various trainers, I can see uh, learn from various websites, and I can simply online experts websites and learn from online experts. And yeah, there's no need of this. Learn from online experts. For example, so they can also see different lessons from various websites and learn from online experts. Okay. For example, my child learns a lot from YouTube tutorials and Khan Academy. So it is an example. She finds it easy to understand when math lessons are presented, not is presented, are presented in an audio-visual form on a website. All right. Now see, the structure which I recommend for you to write your paragraphs is PEE. Now what is this PEE? PEE stands for point, example, and elaboration or explanation. So you have to first make the point. So what is the point here? The point is using computers every day can be very helpful. Then he has given it an example. The first benefit is ease of use. So again, a point is made that is ease of use. And a little bit of elaboration and example is there. So you can follow any sequence. You can either give a little elaboration first and then give an example based on the context. But this is something which you can remember. Always make a point and substantiate it with some examples and elaborations. A computer helps a child to learn in an easy way because a child can see audio and visual explanations. They can also see different lessons from various websites and learn from. I've just read it. So basically, here there is a point is made and two examples are, and an example is given that how you can use from different websites. Now let's see the second paragraph. The second paragraph basically talks about second advantage, and that is job prospects. So the second benefit is job prospects. Now see, look at this. The first sentence of each of these paragraphs are very, very simple and direct. Using computers can be very helpful. The first benefit is ease of learning. Now see, this is very important that you always start the paragraph with a very easy sentence. The second benefit is job prospects. Now this is a no-brainer. Anyone can write it like this. The second benefit is job prospects. These days, computer has become an indispensable tool. Now this is a little bit of, a new word or a little uncommon word, but it's easy to remember. Indispensable tool is like a necessary tool in all the types of offices. In all offices, you can also say in various types of offices or various types of works, from schools to scientific labs and from homes to malls. Just to make it parallel, I'm adding this. Computers are extensively used for, so he has made a point, he is giving an example and explanation to it. So it is advisable to learn computers from an early age to have better prospects in future. In other words, now this is again a very good connector. In other words, a person who knows basic computer operations stands a better chance of finding employment than the one who does not possess this skill. Okay, so I was just thinking in terms of putting some commas here and there, but I see that the sentence flows well without commas as well. Therefore, parents would do well if they allow children to learn this technological advancement by allowing their children to use computers every day. Now, see, this is a little complex sentence because we are talking about two, three things. Parents would do well if they allow children to learn this technological advancement. So, this is one part of the sentence. By doing what? By allowing their children to use computers every day. So children will be able to use this technological advancement if they use computers every day is what this sentence is trying to say. What I'm trying to emphasize is that you can make simple compound sentences where more than two thoughts are discussed, and you conjugate the sentence using by, or to expand the thoughts, and that showcases your skill to make a little longer sentence, which definitely translates into better marks in your test. That you don't have to write any complex structure or use very complex vocabulary to put your thoughts across. You can use very simple expressions. You can be direct the way it is in expressing your thoughts. Let's go through the third paragraph quickly. It says the third benefit is related to personality and confidence of children. Now see, this is again very easy and simple. Personality and confidence. So basically, children who use computers to learn about different aspects become independent learners. Different aspects to learn, who use computers to learn to explore the world. Let me just put like this: explore, to satisfy their curiosity. I was just actually satisfy their children who use computers to find answers to their questions. I was actually refraining from using this word satisfy their curiosity. It's okay to say that, but then it looks a little complex to me. So I'm trying to use as simple vocabulary as possible. Children who use computers to find answers to their questions become independent learners. That's fine. They learn from an early age that they can rely on their own skills to learn about various subjects. Yeah. So own skills, they can rely on a computer, we can say. So they can rely on a computer, so that we highlight the subject, because that is important, right? To learn about various subjects. For example, my 8 years old son uses YouTube. YouTube can be written like this also, to learn songs. He mimics various artists and tries to sing like them. Similarly, my friend's son uses computers to learn French pronunciation. Thus, it is clear that computer can make children independent learners. So it's about their personality aspect where I wanted to highlight about independence. So, there are three different points on which three paragraphs are made. The first one is ease of learning. So you can learn things easily. The second one is job prospects, where there are so many prospects on, if you learn computers, it becomes easy to get a job. And third is about their personality. So three paragraphs are devoted to three different points about persuading people about using computers or allowing children to use computers. So 3 points, three paragraphs. And then there is an exception paragraph. It says, however, so that's why we introduce a U-turn. It is the duty of parents to ensure that you have to have that. And this highlights, you have to proofread your essay very carefully. I wrote it, even I've checked it before making this presentation, but then when I'm reading it, I'm finding few flaws here and there, a few slips here and there. So it's very important that you proofread your essay in your actual exam also, to make sure that all these rough ends may be taken care of. It is the duty of parents to ensure that children do not misuse computers. Cybercrimes are on the rise and children are the most vulnerable targets. This is again a little jargon. I mean, we have used a little bit of jargon here, difficult words, so to say. But then, you have to have a reasonably good vocabulary to showcase your ability to express complex thoughts in an easy way. So, most vulnerable targets. So, parents need to be more vigilant and cautious. So, yeah, need to sprinkle some words here and there to make sure you create a strong impact, a positive impact on the examiner. But again, don't overdo it. Refrain from using heavy words. Try to make it as simple as possible. Make sure that your essay is such that and anyone who reads it should be able to understand it in the first go itself. It should not be complicated. The purpose of writing or the purpose of communication as such is to express, not to impress. When you try to impress someone with your writing or speaking, uh, it boomerangs. It does not really help. It is counterproductive. The purpose should be to convey your thoughts in the most emphatic and easy way. And from that perspective, if you use some new words to make your writing more attractive, that is fine. But then there is a very thin line in being a little creative and trying to showcase. However, parents need to guide children and steer them in the right direction. Now, this is again a beautiful expression, steer them in the right direction. And it sums up the whole thing in a nice way. So, to sum up, whenever you are doing now, yeah, whenever you are writing, it is very important to plan it properly. Like, for example, if you look at this essay, this person has a very clear view of what he wants to say. He said that and at the beginning itself, in the introduction itself, he said that children should be allowed to use computer. I think it is a good idea to allow children. So he has very clearly said this, to use computer every day for studies and for getting knowledge. So he has specified this and he has told that the purpose should be to study, not to just use it or misuse it in uh, the purpose should be to use it for studies and not to waste time playing games or something like that. So I think that's the long and short of this discussion. I wanted to show that, using some good essays, you can learn the skill of writing. Like, for example, when we do a little reverse engineering of this essay, we find that this person had this agenda in his mind that I would use three different examples, like ease of learning, independent learners, so something related to personality and something related to job prospects. And that is all stated in one paragraph each. And finally, he has concluded it with a very precise conclusion. Your conclusion should not be long, two sentences are enough. And of course, there is an exception paragraph. We call this as an exception paragraph or a U-turn, where you simply give some clauses or certain riders or conditions. There is nothing absolute. In this case also, using computer is great, but however, parents have to be a little vigilant and careful about their children. So he has included that aspect here in the second last paragraph, where he talks about the potential dangers or risks. So more or less, this is what I would like you to tell, that uh, this is one good way of learning. If you can find some good essays, you can just try to understand how this person has drafted his thoughts. From an example, you can learn a lot of things. Like, for example, from this essay, we can learn the art of organizing thoughts. So instead of writing long paragraphs or describing things unnecessarily, describing things in a very elaborate manner, you can be precise. You should just remember the two or three points that you want to discuss and write them in grammatically correct English. Make sure that you check your essay before submitting. Small errors here and there can be proofread and corrected before submitting. So all the very best to you. In case you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them. Thank you so much.